Hello, Eurovision party people. Welcome to Eurovision is My Religion, where we casually chat, laugh, and cringe at the Eurovision Song Contest. Join us and our diverse opinions as we dissect the Euro madness. It's chill, it's funny, and it's the Eurovision hangout you didn't know you needed. I'm your host today, Gerda, and with me I have our glitter queen, Simona.
Yeah, baby. Glitter all the way.
And the Norwegian pop king, August.
Norway is my favorite.
Every week.
All the time.
Okay, we're back from the existential crisis. We're back to normal. And we had another really busy week this week. Crazy week, I would say. A few crazy performances that we should discuss and maybe cringe a little bit. I think we should start with the first Estonian semifinal. First and only Estonian semifinal, I should say. I will introduce the format, which I found particularly strange, where they have 5 pre-qualified acts that will go straight to the final. Sounds like a conspiracy to me. And they had the semi-final.
Already with a conspiracy theories.
I'm heading straight in. And they had a semi-final where they selected 5 acts that will go to the final. So some artists already qualified. Some artists had to go to the semi-final. What do you think about that format?
Wait, so the pre-selected songs go to the final?
Yeah, straight away. I don't even know the songs.
So
I haven't heard them.
do they pay like Spain and our countries to Eurovision to go straight away? Did we just literally pay and said that's an acceptable way to get to the finals?
Interesting. It's better than Greece's format where they elect the searcher of the song. That seems crazier.
We haven't heard from the searcher in a long time,
Yeah,
so
still
I wonder
searching.
how she's searching.
It's a big
Um,
journey across Greece.
No,
anyway.
I found the format to be weird as well. I did like also the amount of songs that were played in the semi-final, which was 15, I think.
Yeah,
Way
it
too
was long.
many.
It was long.
Way too long.
I think we all forgot the songs by the time it finished. So let's dive into your favorites. Which one did you find the best or the most memorable from the 15?
Can I go?
Absolutely.
Okay, with a caveat. Oh no, actually, I liked 2.
That's a good start.
The Ollie, my friend one, a little bit. Although his voice was a bit pinched, I think he sounded like he was on the toilet. I think he was singing in this rock, like a Nickelback on the toilet. I don't remember the melody of the song, but you know the rock one.
Yeah,
Ollie.
I remember as well.
He
Do you
sounded like
think
this.
he got a spicy takeaway the night before and he just went...
Possible. But I did like, I'm not roasting just. I thought it was a bit catchy.
That wasn't the roast
Okay,
part,
so
that
that
was
was
a
just-
genuine comment.
Yeah. Well,
Genuine comment to improve development area.
development area.
Try to get off the toilet before singing.
Yes. And the second one was the serotonin,
Oh, really?
which
Okay.
reminded me a bit of Tattoo, the duo. It was a feel-good song, I thought. nice ambience. That's my notes.
All right. Maybe let's dive into Ollie's performance, first of all. I personally, it was my favorite from the 15. It started off really strange. It was kind of him sitting at the piano.
Yes. That's when he sounded especially
Toilet-like.
squeezed.
Squeezed.
Yes. I think once the instrumentals stepped in,
Okay.
anyway.
So that was the constipation period,
Yes.
and then he unleashed the dragons.
Let it go.
Yeah, and
We
let it
really
flow.
miss Katrina in this episode, who can bring
It's going to be shit talking.
All
a
right.
certain amount of elegance to what we
Yeah.
speak about.
Well, it's her fault for leaving us unsupervised, us children. But yeah, it felt like it was a song in two parts, but I definitely liked the rock part. I wonder what Simona thinks about, was it rock? Was it something else?
It sounded to me like rock. Thank you for asking. I quite, in terms of the songs that I remembered, this is probably one of the more memorable ones, and it was like a Linkin Park type of song and everything. So I quite liked it. I didn't find the toilet situation to be as clear as August did, but I suppose each to their own. So yeah, and the other song that I liked, since you're asking, Gerda, is 5 minus 10 pull up.
Oh yeah, the drug song. I call it the drug song.
I'm not sure if it would do well in Eurovision as such, because sometimes these kind of songs just, don't work well for smaller countries in particular. But I quite liked it. I liked something about it. Certainly.
Yeah, so from my understanding from social media, this one was kind of a favorite from the kind of hardcore fans even before the semi-final started. But I think everyone was a little bit disappointed with the staging. Maybe the song was kind of so hyped up by the fans going into the semi-final that the staging fell a bit flat. For me, it looked absolutely like LT United from 2006, kind of 6 men dressed in black, kind of all doing crazy stuff. I think they chose to sing in Estonian, but I kind of looked up the lyrics, and they're funny. They kind of the whole song is about how they're not doing drugs. They're definitely not doing drugs. And they're definitely taking vitamin C and not any kind of substances. So
very good. In Latvia last year, sent somebody singing about eating salad and eating vegetables. So I think Eurovision is really trying to showcase how to live.
Yeah, we're all about health.
What to eat.
Yeah.
The diet.
Definitely not drugs, guys.
Yeah.
Just say no to drugs.
According to them.
Drugs are bad. Okay.
Yeah, so that sort of that song left an impression for sure.
Coming back to the serotonin song, which was another qualifier, I felt like there was a strong theme with the kind of synth sounds. I don't know. I didn't find that particular song really memorable, but I wrote against a couple of qualifiers that it just seemed like the whole semifinal was like using this synths, kind of like 80 sounds. And I felt like we already had that a few years before.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, so I found this kind of strange and a little bit kind of maybe a bit too late to catch that particular trend.
We're still listening to The Weeknd, the previous album.
Yeah.
Yeah, the synthwave. I noticed another song that qualified, Peter Parder.
Yes.
Coraville.
Exactly. Yeah.
I wrote in my notes, nice synthwave, instrumental, no melody though.
That's one of your more light touch comments.
Yeah, that's one of the positive comments.
Yeah, very elegant. Thank you.
And the final qualifier that we haven't touched on is the Evert and the Two Dragons with the song Hold Me Now. I thought that it was a nice song, but really forgettable, and maybe that's why we're kind of forgot to mention it. Evert, by the way, went with 2 songs because, when you don't believe in one song, you just go with 2 songs. So I found that interesting as well. It was already a busy night, but we saw Evert twice.
People are allowed to put multiple songs.
Evert is the person who sang Hold Me Now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Evert and the Two Dragons with the song Hold Me Now. Mm-hmm. And then there was Multikas and Evert Suja. Mm-hmm. And because I wanted to make this point, I did check whether Evert Suja is Evert from Evert and the Two Dragons, and it is the same person.
Oh.
And I thought, what a busy night for that guy.
Wow.
Yeah, I just find it interesting when people send 2 songs. It's like they don't think one of the songs is good.
Maximize the chances.
Yeah,
I think seeing how the selection process is, you just need to maximize chances.
yeah. Send 15 songs out of 15, and you'll make sure to qualify.
Send yeah, exactly. Just fill all of the songs.
It's all
of the
Evert.
songs is just you. It's you with different facial hair, wigs.
You know that meme when you have to like create different accounts and you kind of have these like costumes or pretend when you kind of create accounts for the first time and you kind of have to put up.
Yeah, I
So-
agree, Gerda, by the way. I thought it was a bit boring. It's a song about connection and love, but I don't think the vocal performance was convincing. But I also remembered something.
You should have gone to the toilet.
There, yes, maybe that would have helped. In 1987, Ireland sent a song which was also called "Hold Me Now," and the message probably was along the same lines, but the chorus was a lot more catchy. And I think with these love songs, the melody has to be nice, at least, and or powerful for it to grip. If it's just bland or boring, I don't know, man. I don't remember it.
Are you trying to step into Katrina's shoes
Yeah,
by
I've-
quoting Irish performance of the 90s?
I just remembered because I think I was
Just
scrolling
remembered.
YouTube. I remember the song. He sings those words exactly. Hold me now, na 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 da 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 da.
That's what we've been waiting for, August, to
yeah.
illustrate the song.
Yeah. Well, you
But-
got it. You're welcome.
But yeah, as Simona pointed out, we're missing Katrina this week, but clearly just not in spirit, because August just took over that Eurovision Oracle and Encyclopedia spirit and brought it with him today. Any other kind of notable performances that haven't qualified from the Estonian semi?
The silly song. Was that the wacky? I didn't write down the name in my notes, but the one where it was absurd.
I think that
Ju-
summarizes a lot
Just
of Eurovision
like
performances.
joke for the sake of joke. And I read on Reddit that people are annoyed about this. So it's not just us that of these joke entries. Oh, look at us, how we are silly and wacky on the stage. Yeah, it would have helped if I wrote down the name of the song.
Yeah, I'm trying
So
to
we can't
search for
comment?
it. Yeah.
Okay, so we're back to actual August. Katrina's spirit has left the room.
Yeah.
I think so. I wrote your name next to one of the songs, and I don't know if it's the same song because I'm not sure if it was really wacky. But there was a song by Traffic called Wunderbar, and it was like a typical Eurotrash song. And I thought,
Euro trash.
yeah, it was. I mean, living up to Eurotrash name for sure. And I thought maybe this is what August likes because
Maybe.
it's not from Norway, but it is kind of a little bit trashy.
Yeah, I like a little bit of sweet trashy, but it has to be quality trash.
Yeah, maybe this wasn't quality enough to qualify. Anyway, okay, moving on. We have a Lithuanian Heat 2, where we saw another 10 performances, and 2 of them qualified to the final.
guess it is what it is. So if I were cold, left you guessing if I'd come back home, would it make you want me more? I can't change me, so it is. Remember July, when you said you wouldn't lie, yet I was able to notice, and I want you to know this, that I will. Вея снова я, ой, свеведу я, quieres loco estar.
So the two bands who qualified, well, two performances that qualified was Žalvarinis and Aiste. I think before we start talking about any of these performances, we should remember that Aiste lives in East London.
Exactly the point that
Does
I
she?
wanted to make.
So
yes.
we should be careful in case she listens.
Overhears us.
And she has some, strong friends who can,
Visit us.
intimidate us. So, be careful with kind of negativity and be nice. Be nice to our fellow neighbors in East London. Do you want to share your postcode or not?
Yeah,
I mean-
Gerda, it's about time.
It's E. Anyway, cool. Let's start with Aiste, which was the public favorite.
Is that the way to pronounce her name, or is there a fancy way to say
I think she went it a fancy way. I stay,
I
isn't it?
stay?
Aiste was the
Oh
other
no,
week.
but I stay was verb.
Oh.
This one is I stay.
Aiste.
I stay.
Aistio.
I stew. We said we were not gonna insult, and we dive right in. It's my fault. Sorry.
Okay,
Aiste.
so Aiste.
I stew.
Aiste?
I stew. She's from France.
How would you say Aiste in East London? Aiste.
East London or in Kaunas?
It's the same population.
Okay,
People.
anyway. I stew. What was her song like?
It was the disco song.
Oh, yes.
It felt like she left the ABBA Voyage performance and came straight to Eurovision.
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
I'm quite surprised that she qualified. I think I didn't understand why she's like completely copied ABBA. I understand obviously it's that type of song and you're going to Sweden, but I just felt like surely you wouldn't showcase it like that because
Mm-hmm.
can go to ABBA Voyage to actually look at the quality ABBA performance. So I was very surprised. I actually quite like the vibe of a song. This is sort of my type of song. I like a fun and happy song, but I think some of the vocals were not up to scratch in some of the parts of the song.
100% of the song, you mean?
Well, I was trying to be nice. So, and and I just didn't understand why would you copy completely like ABBA, like do some kind of your twist or something, or I don't know. I was so surprised that she qualified.
Yeah, my notes were similar. I said vocal not strong, but good feels, I guess.
Question mark?
Appeals to Sweden, ABBA, YMCA. The lyrics were a bit silly. I wrote also. I think she sings, "We will rule the world."
we
we
will
will, which I
As in
didn't
happy people, I assume.
understand what it means. Yeah, but ruling the world.
Doesn't sound like a very happy thing
Yeah,
to
it
do.
Yeah.
sounds like a bit of a
Dictatorial thing to
an
do.
imposition of an order, or I didn't get I don't know.
Yeah, definitely was not my vibe. But it seemed so. Sorry, I did say that it was public favorite. It was actually they got 12 points from the jury in Lithuania. Which,
How? Because jury usually is so stuck on the vocals.
Yeah,
You have to nail the vocals. How could she get the best score?
yeah. I
Mm.
don't know. Conspiracy again, man. I don't know how could they hear her? Like were they deaf? Like no offense to the jury, but it just seemed to
It was
be.
just really surprising. I
She-
was so surprised.
She was so off note.
How did the people vote?
So they put her second, so they gave her
Okay.
10 points. But kind of when they were interviewing the kind of the audience in the studio, everyone kind of mentioned the song to be their favorite because of the positivity and the good vibes. And then, which I kind of get, again, completely not my song, but maybe it works for some people. But it's just, I think if she had good vocals, if she could hit the notes,
It would be much better.
yeah, it would
And
be
then
much
if
better.
you change the performance look or make it a bit more special about yourself, then it would be even better.
It's a tough job an artist has.
Yeah,
The
she
voice-
volunteered for it. Nobody asked her.
Yeah, of course. But I'm just thinking, in order to appeal to us, critics with a very high bar, somebody
And
has
very
renowned.
low capability, but very
Yes.
high bar.
but a very extremely high bar. So I think they need to have a very good vocal, well, or at least a solid vocal, something original of a song. Because if you copy somebody else, if you don't make it better, it's not really worthwhile. It looks a bit bland, and you need to perform well physically, be charismatic, and don't dress silly.
Yeah,
So
you
you have
summed it
to,
up perfectly.
and maybe choreography, move a little bit.
Depends on the song, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
would
she's
agree.
done some of those things. There was definitely choreography involved and stuff like that, but
The,
it's
the
just
costumes, I guess, or
I think she's done all of those parts, but not to the right standard.
not to the really high standards
A
that we
little bit
hold
of
in this.
Yeah. So, so the other qualifier was the band Žalvarinis, which I think is somewhat known in Lithuania.
Very well known in Lithuania.
Yeah, and they do have a lot of experience. I think when they were being introduced in the studio, you know, they kind of perform in festivals and arenas, and they kind of support really famous Lithuanian artists in Lithuania. So, do you think they were a surprise qualifier, or were you expecting this result?
out of everybody that performed, they seemed like they were probably deserving. But yeah, I'm reading my notes. The chorus, when they sing together, it sounded interesting, I thought. But it also, the instrumental sounded a bit old school, not in the best way, I think. It was a bit slow, the drums were a bit slow. It was like a song that was actually written in the 90s, not like a song from the 90s.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of thought that they're going for the Balkan vote. You know, when Balkan countries,
Yeah.
there's
Mhm.
at least one, not always the same country, send kind of this like folk, kind of quite
Mhm.
old school song
Mhm.
that we're never sure what it's doing in Eurovision. I
Mm.
feel like this was the same kind of
Yeah.
performance.
It was a surprise. I mean, they're really experienced, and I knew the band already. I was kind of expecting a bit maybe a more modern twist for from them, because even they themselves mentioned as a comment that this was specially written for Eurovision. But when I heard it, it didn't sound like it's very
Yeah.
special for Eurovision as such. So that was a bit disappointing for me. I was just surprised that they would be voted in and sort of selected, not because they were bad or anything. It's just a surprising choice for me.
Yeah, I was thinking of Ukraine in 21 with Shum.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
a traditional folk song, and her singing was also traditional, and you could say old school, but they still made it modern and cool with
Yeah.
electronics.
Exactly.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be, I think, warped electronics and dubstep or techno or whatever. Or
I mean, it helps.
maybe the rhythm, the sound, if it sounded the song like it could be played in a tavern, you know,
Yeah.
somewhere across the country in an evening. Yeah, maybe not. Anyway,
I mean, they don't live in London, so you can say whatever, you know, don't hold it back.
true. Sorry, I stay.
We also had some returning participants. So Andrius Pojavis, who represented Lithuania in Eurovision in 2013, tried to qualify for the Lithuanian final this year. I see some head shaking some sighs.
Fucking hell.
Can we elaborate on his performance? Would you like to see it again in your life, or was one time enough? Or
I think I did not understand Andrius Pojavis and his song the first time he somehow actually participated in Eurovision, and I still don't understand him and his song this time. He also said that he was expecting that people will cry at his song.
Oh
Yes.
my
And not a
God.
single person cried.
Oh
and then
my
he noticed
God.
that people actually laughed at his song, and I thought, yes, because that performance is ridiculous.
It was
Fucking
so
hell.
weird. Just so
Weird is the word.
Yeah.
I thought it was cringe. I think there's something dangerous about a deranged hippie. It's true. This is the problem. When you think something is so meaningful, and he was seeming, when he was singing, like he thought his every word was super meaningful, like and he was singing the lyrics of you fit in my hook, I fit in your hook.
How does
Your
one
hook?
fit in a hook?
You fit in my hook, I fit in
Also,
your
was
hook.
he pronouncing hug or hook?
I thought it was hook.
I thought it was a hook, but now I think
But-
it must be hug.
I think it's hug, as in the title, in the song title, it's
Yeah.
"Sing Me a Hug,"
I kept on
Oh, is it
hearing hook
hug?
as well.
and I wasn't sure whether I'm mishearing the lyrics
Okay.
or whether he's
Well,
pronouncing it.
hook or hug. The point, I guess, remains that he's.
I suppose fitting in somebody's hug
yeah,
is a bit
it's a
easier than
s-
fitting in
I
somebody's
Again.
mean,
hook.
with the hook, I'm just thinking about boxing moves now. So I'm like, is he about to knock the person out, or what's?
I don't know what he would think would be beautiful about this. I guess in his mind, maybe the simplicity of connection and hugging somebody, but it's literally the one line, and he's just repeating the same line, and there's a Nickelodeon instrumental in the background. Boop, beep, 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 boop, beep. Boop, beep, 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 boop, beep. Boop, beep, 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 boop, beep.
To give Andres some credit, I really liked his hair. He really changed from his first performance to the second. I didn't understand how the transition happened.
I
I'm
think he
like-
joined the cult.
His hair looked pretty cool, and
Could be.
when he started the song and he had his, looks and everything, I was intrigued. I thought, bring it on. Let's see what you've got. But then, yeah, it didn't deliver what I expected it to deliver.
For me, the kind of another funny remark that he made was when he was asked about what was the most memorable part about going to Eurovision
Oh my
in
God, yes.
2013, and he said the flight to Sweden was an interesting one because he got to see the Baltic Sea from the other side.
That's the thing that he liked the most about participating in Eurovision.
Like
Previous
the
time,
whole
that's what he
Eurovision,
said.
the whole spectacle, the whole kind of event preparation, rehearsals, the parties.
Yeah, the guy's deranged.
I think he's in
No,
a cult.
I mean he's just he just thinks differently. It's just not my style. The
Do you
song
think
and everything.
he's maybe he's a quirky hippie?
Yeah, I would prefer a word quirky.
Okay, maybe not deranged.
Deranged.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I say deranged because I think it's the gap between what you are doing in the moment and the reality check, the reality of it all, and the reaction, like you were saying, audience, if they're giggling, I don't know.
Yeah, if you expect people to cry but they're laughing, like you're not really understanding the reality that well,
Yeah.
are you?
That-
Simone
that's
is
my
trying
conclusion.
not to get cancelled
Yeah,
this week.
Maybe we're too mean.
I think everybody will conclude that we are too mean, but that is who we are.
What is this podcast without being mean to people that we don't know?
I still think he's deranged. Anyway. on to the next one.
Agree to disagree.
I don't
Yeah, agree
regret
to disagree.
the
Okay.
comment.
Simone, do you have any other memorable performances from Lithuanian Heat?
I liked LA, Rock My Body. I was
Agree.
sure that she will actually
Yeah.
qualify.
Yeah,
That's why I was so surprised I stayed.
I-
Did.
I wrote one word, which was robbed. I thought there was a robbery in broad daylight and nobody informed Lithuanian police because she was by far the best that evening. She was definitely a better singer than Estonia or
Ice
Stay,
I stay.
whatever version of Ice we had that week. Yeah, it's just bizarre that she didn't qualify, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, she was really good. I didn't like the fact that she had a dance interval, because I think unless your dance interval is like Spain from the previous years, I think you don't have to do a dance interval. But maybe she could improve until that point. But overall, I really like the song. I really like the song. I like her vibe. I think she was confident. She could sing. I was really disappointed that she didn't qualify, and surprised.
Yeah, as a man, Oge, do you have any opinions?
I don't remember the song very well, but the colorful performance and
Mm-hmm.
everything, I think it was better at least than the Kaboom guys, the K-pop before. I would vote for this over Kaboom any
Oh, yeah,
day.
for sure.
Good.
I'm just repeating myself, but robbery. And I'm really
Robbed. She
disappointed
was robbed.
because I think that's the song I would like to support for Lithuania and the actual Eurovision, but she didn't even qualify for the final.
What about Blood on Your Hands?
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
Davidas Valma. What did you guys think? You remember this one, Simona?
Wasn't it like the
Blood on your hands, blood on your hands. Oh, na, 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 in the end.
Is it that guy who had quite a lot of makeup on himself,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
He looked a bit like Davis.
No, or also like Gerard from My Chemical Romance. And then he cut his hair.
You like My Chemical Romance. That's a plus.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything.
So we're learning a lot about Simona today.
I
She
like
likes
short hair, like long hair.
Poyavis. She likes A Chemical Romance.
I watched the music clip of Blood on Your
Oh,
Hands.
they have a music clip.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god, the budget these days, like
And I got sick because it's a lot of blood. It's bloody hands. And I felt
It was in the name, August.
Yes, I did, but I thought it would, maybe be more subtle. It was blood running on his hands. I hope they didn't use animal blood or something because I got
no,
a
they
bit
use
nauseous.
human.
Shit, it's work for the art.
Yeah, it's art, you don't get it. Yeah, I found I don't know, I didn't like the performance, but it was a bit maybe too intense.
It was
for me.
very intense. Yeah. But at least I can agree with the fact that there was a lot of emotion in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and that showed in the performance. Not necessarily a bad thing.
Mhm.
That's a good thing if you feel really strong about your song and the lyrics you're singing.
His voice was good too, I thought. I like these powerful voices in rock songs or pop songs or ballads, but if
Any
it's-
song.
I like it. I like it when it's a bit nasal, a bit like this, in between nasal and toilet.
On the scale of nasal to toilet, which
Yeah, somewhere in the middle is perfect.
I'm sure there is a proper methodology, terminology
Whatever
for
the
what
word
you're
is,
trying to say.
Whatever the term is for the in the middle.
maybe our audience could comment back what's the
Yeah,
term.
maybe some professional vocal coaches could send us some tips how to call these voices.
Until then, we'll call it like this.
Yeah. Until then, we will talk about toilets.
What about Paula Urbana? It is what it is.
It is what it is by the way my favorite phrase in life. So immediately I was drawn to the performance because I use it on a daily basis. I think she was I liked the performance. I think it was missing staging. She looked kind of very lonely on the stage. It seemed like
It is what it is, you know.
Yeah, it is what it is. No, she was just missing friends, like dancers, somebody to move around her. And I did like the fact that she was very open in terms of her goal in Eurovision. She said she wanted more exposure. She wanted to be noticed, and because she's releasing an EP, which is kind of the reason and the goal that 95% of people who participate in Lithuanian Heats have. they don't really go for Eurovision, they go for exposure. But she was open about it. She was out there saying it, out loud.
I really hated that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like I understand, obviously, that a lot of the artists go with that intention, but I felt it was very arrogant to say that was the only thing she said, that she didn't mention, oh, and Eurovision seems like a cool place to be. And straight away I was like, well, I wouldn't. I mean, there are some artists who actually believe in Eurovision and want to participate in the actual event. You're just going there to put your song on the stage. I really dislike that. I found that so arrogant.
And she was also making this constant movement with her hips. I think she's twisted from side to side like 60 times in the performance. And
but who counts?
August.
Somebody who was next to me when I was watching the performance on the television said that she seems like she's there more to show her body than to sing. So I don't know.
It was interesting. It was commented by I think the presenters that she's a good dancer as well.
Yeah, I don't think it was obvious that she was a dancer.
No, that didn't look, apart from that one twist and one hand up movement, which I recognized as well.
Yeah, it wasn't a performance for Eurovision. I mean, I like the song, but I think
the song is not too bad in all fairness, but I just didn't like her attitude.
No, I agree with the attitude point, because when you were talking about it, I remembered when she said that her songs are really experimental and people don't normally get them. She just seemed to have kind of zero trust in her listener. Like,
people like the songs that are good,
Yeah, she was kind of patronizing her fans that, they don't get it.
Yeah,
it's like
I really
art.
dislike that.
And the song is kind of for Eurovision because it's like the most like normal song.
The most
like,
basic one.
Yeah, I was just seemed like there was no respect for the kind of for her own fans. I think there are a few participants that we haven't talked about. I'll mention them just in case you have anything to say. There was Thomas G. Do you remember the lonely?
Oh, yeah. It's Justin Bieber of Lithuania.
He was a bit
one?
nervous, right?
Yeah,
I thought.
I thought that if he was participating in Swiss selection process, who are famous for sending their sad boys, maybe he could have a chance. But in Lithuania, we like the positivity because we voted for Aiste.
Yeah. Somebody though, I think on Reddit was voting for him to be the biggest snack of the Lithuanian performance. He was quite good looking, like a young.
Again, did we check his age?
I need to check his age before commenting any further, but he did seem to be overall pretty.
Yeah, his teeth were white. That's what I remember.
And then we had a band, I think, called Multics.
Yeah.
I found it strange that we had Multicas in Estonian semi-final and Multics on Lithuanian Heat on the same night.
I noticed that too.
Yeah. And that's the only thing I
Conspiracy?
remember or care about, because I didn't care about the song at all.
Yeah, it sounded flat. Sounded a bit sad. They were singing about happiness, but the singer didn't seem that happy, I thought. Maybe it was the nerves.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been to Lithuania in January. It's a fairly sad time. Yeah, there's very little sunshine every day. Might be affecting his enthusiasm for performance.
Yeah, people have a bad day,
Just maybe not make the Eurovision stage day.
Sometimes
everybody has a bad day, but you try to kind of pretend it's not that bad when
Yeah, the problem is that you're judged on your performance. It's kind of like an interview.
Cool. I think that sums up the Lithuanian Heat for this week. We have 3 more Lithuanian Heats coming up and then a final. So I think we'll be talking about Lithuania for a long, long time. And we also had another heat in Norway this weekend.
superhero rock, my superhero robot body. My superhero rock, my superhero robot body.
Flowers in the hair makes me tremble. In faded blue jeans I crumble. Anything you do, just tenderly hold me.
Do we want to start with the most colorful of all, the My AI song?
My superhero, Rob.
My superhero
Na, na,
Rob.
na,
Na, na, na, na, na, na,
It's a
na.
robot and his name is Rob.
Very original. Did we like this performance? I felt like it was similar to the VB Gang, kind of very
Very
bright
similar.
pink,
Yeah.
very bright pink, very jumpy and kind of funny.
It
No?
was a very catchy sort of melody and main part of a song. However, obviously she couldn't sing it all
Hmm.
at all
Agreed.
times, so that dampened the mood for me a little bit.
Yeah, I found her voice a bit annoying,
Mhm.
especially those parts where she's kind of pretending to be this like cute girl. Like,
Oh God, I don't like that either.
yeah, just act your age, please.
Yeah, I didn't.
And also confirm your age.
No more comments about her appearance until we verify. But yeah, I think her facial expressions, it seemed like in between confusion and like almost she was almost in pain. It seemed like she was. I didn't get if it was ironic or no. If she was making fun of this idea of having a robot best friend, or if it was a legit dance track.
I really didn't understand as well whether it's good to have that Rob or is it?
Yeah, I thought there's a chance
Rob was
it's a satire.
strong, and he was her friend.
Yeah, it was
so-
almost corny, but on purpose. Like
Yeah.
Rob listens to me. He's such a something.
Maybe it's meant to be dystopian.
Yes, that's what I
Didn't
thought.
look very dystopian
But
on
didn't
the
look at
stage.
all.
looked
dystopian.
confused. It looked in between. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, maybe something was lost in translation from.
Well,
English to
AI could
English.
have helped.
Yeah, Rob wasn't that good
exactly.
to translate it.
I don't know. I just felt very catchy in all fairness.
Very catchy.
Yeah.
It's that kind of the melody. It reminded me of kind of early 2000s, kind of ATB, kind of. There's no melody, but there's kind of, or there is melody, but it's very kind of just boom, 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 like
Basic.
simple. Yeah, an interesting performance, which qualified to the Norwegian final. So we will see them again and discuss them once more. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know. Maybe
Isn't the artist social media star not like her main profession is not singing? I'm not sure.
I mean that would explain a lot.
Should have checked probably before
do you know
commenting.
what Ice's profession is?
No.
Cool. Another qualifier was a duet. I won't read their names because.
Well, you should try. Always try.
Okay, Dag Erik Oxvold and Anne Fagermo, if I wrote it correctly. I can't always read my handwriting, so.
You're right.
Yes.
You're
Great. The song called "Judge Tenderly of Me." I found it hilarious that this was the performance which followed the AI song because the two performances couldn't be more contrast to each other.
True.
Yeah.
They're rustic and old school, borderline country.
Yeah, folk
True.
music kind of, yeah.
I felt like this is the song that Katrina would really like to discuss
Yeah.
on this table. And this is the song that I will definitely not support in the Eurovision.
I'm glad that we'll have Katrina back for the final when she can,
Tell me off.
yeah, really fight it off, you know.
Yeah, I know. But it sounded like almost exactly like one of the style of songs that we recently had in the Eurovision.
Netherlands?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Calm Before the Storm?
Yeah,
Mhm.
sounded very similar.
They're just like older versions of the Dutch duo from last year.
Mhm.
So
Oh yes, that Dutch duo as well. Calm Before the Storm was even before. Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah,
they keep
yeah, I
sending
think-
these same songs. This
Yeah, this
male,
is song
woman.
so
every
hard
year,
to
right?
tell.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I guess people like them, right?
I
Like
mean,
Katrina likes them.
love is an important emotion.
I think they kind
Is
of.
it more important than AI? The Rob.
What's more relatable for you in life, love or the dangers of AI?
These days, AI. I think about that every day.
Yeah, I also think about AI taking over my job.
Yeah. Yeah, if I were to pick between the country life or the life with Jake Paul's robot and AI, I think I choose country.
Okay.
Oh,
Um, I also just thought that it's quite. They're giving us quite good advice in their song title, "Judge Tenderly of Me," because we've been quite brutal with our evaluations this week. So maybe that's a lesson that we could learn.
No, but our standards are very high. We have a high bar.
yes, high unexplained bar.
Yeah. We don't even know what we like. We just
Yeah, we don't know. Every time
but we
I
know
think
what
I
we
change
don't
my.
like.
we don't. Yeah, we know what we don't like straight away.
Yeah.
Cool. And the third qualifier to the final was, I think it's Gyote. Yes, with Ulveham.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm butchering this. Yeah, the kind of the dark, stormy song.
Yeah, mysterious. A lot of people liked it in the comments. They were saying it's a clear winner. And when I read the comments, I listened to it again. I wasn't convinced maybe, but I liked the vibe, the staging of it all, I guess the musical landscape. I don't know, but it also was a bit loud, and I typically like when there's a melody. Maybe I'm a bit cheesy like that, but when there's no audible melody and if it's just sound and instrumental all over, I don't typically like it. I don't know.
I don't know. I still remember the Rob much better than this song. So that got stuck in my head, and this one I don't really remember that well. So
I think the fact that there wasn't a clear melody makes it a quite forgettable song. I don't think it was
just
a forgettable.
does really well usually at Eurovisions. The forgettable ones.
I think the staging was good, and I really wanted to like the performance because it kind of had those elements that I like in Eurovision performances. But it just kind of, this song just felt flat. Couldn't remember after I couldn't remember the song after listening to it. So I don't know if it's a clear winner. I'm not sure it's the best year for Norway, and I hope there's more in Heat 3 that we can see and hear.
I agree. What about Mileo, the guy with blonde hair?
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
you would say that, Simona, because he looks like My Chemical Romance.
I don't think he does, although
Come on.
From the face, definitely.
Come on.
It's his face.
Okay, on YouTube we're showing the
Yeah.
side by side.
you should no.
It's just a blonde version
Come
of
on,
the
he's
lead
blonde, short
vocalist from-
hair,
Yeah.
a black eye shade.
Okay, well I have a pattern.
And he was
Regardless,
singing in that
what
way
do
too.
you think? I was surprised that he didn't qualify.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Him and the other the lady Farida, Heartache. I thought that they both had catchy melodies.
Yeah, it was really catchy, both of them, I think. So maybe we start with Mileo. I kind of found the whole performance a bit weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. Just kind of made me feel a bit unsettled.
But it kept me entertained, for example. It was
Yeah.
weird and I kept on watching on.
And he kind of felt quite charismatic. Like I wanted to kind of watch him perform.
Like certain bands.
I wasn't such a hardcore fan of My Chemical Romance, I'm afraid, so I will not relate to this comment, Simona. But yeah, it was my favorite, and I was shocked that it didn't qualify.
Me too.
A lot
I
of
liked
shockers.
it stuck in my head. I had that melody as well as Heartache in my head. both of them, yeah, the Farida's Heartache sounded like a song that you could sing around a campfire a bit in an acoustic version. Yeah, the guy, yeah, performance-wise, maybe a bit weird. He was upside down on the table there, the nurses, and
Yeah.
but
yeah.
weird in an interesting way, maybe in a way
Entertaining.
that gothic is a bit interesting, or it's a bit weird and dark.
Yeah.
But without black and white effects of Goth Minister. So, big plus for me.
But yeah, Farida's Heartache, I thought it had Kano vibes, and I
Mhm.
again thought that maybe this is one of your favorites. So at least
Yeah,
one
man.
time I was right.
You're right.
Yeah, it's catchy. It's a bit Euro trashy, kind of at its best. Like I mean it as a compliment.
Eurotrash is always a compliment in my mind.
Depends on the context. The Estonian Wunderbar song or whatever it was called. I did mean it as a compliment, but here it's good. It's kind of it felt familiar. I guess I think we see these performances from Norway quite often. And then the last performer was Ellie Kristen with Touch of Venus. Were you touched by Venus?
No, personally, I
No.
wasn't.
I think it's similar to what I said before. It felt
You
like
said
a
so
song.
many things, and some of them I wouldn't like to be repeated. So
No, not deranged, no, but just from a different time. It seemed like this song was in the 1990s
Yeah.
or something.
she
So,
seemed very strong and powerful woman.
so because I am confident that she's over 18, I'm gonna say she's a bit milfy.
August is googling. I think.
It's not
Is it
about-
the
it's-
age or the looks?
It's not about
I
me.
think we're confident that she's over 18, so we can say.
I'm googling Venus and it's giving me images of the planet.
Surprisingly.
I mean, the planet is quite sexy, so you know. But yeah, how do we think this heat in Norway compared to the previous heats? Do you have a favorite from these two heats, or are you excited about the final heat next weekend?
I don't think it was as good, and I think it's an injustice that Mileo and Farida didn't come through.
Robberies
Robbed.
all over Europe.
Yeah, man. Somebody should call the European police.
Interpol. I
Interpol.
think it's an international matter.
Yeah.
We should call them.
I still like Oblivion probably the most out of all Norway's performances, and I hope she stops moving side to side so it doesn't distract August and others, as I understand.
And the office attire.
Yeah, she moves to casual clothing.
Well, maybe not too casual for Eurovision, but yeah, I agree. Cool. And we also had another excited announcement this week. So Slovenia's representative Raven released her song Veronika.
Najdi me, rani me, brani me.
What did you think, August?
I was intrigued about who Veronika was, and I looked into this.
A witch.
A witch.
You looked into it? But do you know how...
I didn't know any other detail behind the
Okay.
fact that she was a witch.
So apparently she was a real woman who lived in...
Aren't we all witches?
touche.
All them witches.
Touche.
Yeah.
Snakes. She
Mhm.
lived in the beginning of the 15th century, and she was a lower class noble, and she fell in love with Frederick, who was a prince, I think, at the time. And Frederick's father forbade the relationship, and she went to hide in the woods, and he was imprisoned, and then they caught her, and they tried to sentence her, and her sentencing was the first witch trial in Slovenia's history. So she's kind of an important figurehead. She had a good lawyer who actually managed to win her case.
Who were the lawyers for the witches?
What is this suit
I mean,
spin-off?
somebody at the time.
I didn't realize the witches had lawyers.
Maybe Saul Goodman. Or I don't know. Somebody. But the point is, she won. And
Bloody good lawyer at that time. To be accused of witchery and to, because before that the trial was really simple. You just put into the water.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
drowns.
I wonder what the argument was. Did they do some demonstrations?
Why
The-
is not the song about the lawyer, not
the-
the witch? I mean, witch didn't really do
Maybe
anything. The
there's
lawyer was
another
cool.
there's another song about the lawyer.
Oh my God,
So
I'm crying.
she won, but then she was in a castle somewhere, and the king, the angry father, hired his knights to kill her basically, and they drowned her in the bath.
So she wasn't a witch.
In the end, they discovered that she wasn't when she drowned.
I think that was clear after the lawyer's case, like clearly the lawyer was enough to convince that she wasn't a witch.
You trust, but you verify.
Yeah.
The lawyer should have been present at the drowning. I mean,
Well,
mean-
she, I think, became this mythical figurehead in Slovenia's history.
because they
and
killed her.
because she was maybe wrongly sentenced and she was in love. and-
Maybe do you still believe that women are witches?
Allegedly. Well, we don't know.
I mean, he believes in witches because he sees them every day.
Yeah.
Like there are two around the stable, so.
You cannot live with them, but you cannot live without them.
Okay, back to the song.
Yeah, I was thinking, what was this?
No, this was a really interesting story actually. The lawyer bit just cracked me up. I
But
just
it
stopped
really
crying
ruined the
now.
song
So.
because I feel like the song should have been about the lawyer, and now he's like,
Maybe there will be another song about
Yeah.
the lawyer.
Yeah, maybe next year
maybe
we'll do
we
the
could
lawyer
sign
song.
like a petition or something.
Do we know the lawyer's name or is he not famous?
Well, he should be.
Why did I assume that it's a he? Could
Oh.
be.
Oh,
That's very sexist of us.
Gerda, wow.
Calling myself out.
Probably because all the women were witches, so.
Yeah, I'm volunteering to be cancelled this week.
Boom, cancelled.
we don't need volunteers on this occasion.
She, I guess, interestingly, she released a music video rather than a live performance.
Mhm.
How did you find the music video? It was
Yeah, quite cool.
quite
I
cool.
think
Yeah,
it was
Artsy.
actually very captivating, the
Yeah.
video itself.
it
I
was
really
quite
liked.
sexy as
Yeah.
well. I thought like it was kind of nakedness and
Yeah.
witchery and
Quite
Still
cool.
no lawyer.
no lawyer present, but a lot of young men present. So maybe they're
Yeah.
playing into her kind of witch side rather than the actual story of her being a normal woman.
Yeah. I think the staging will be important. You want to realize that kind of vibe to the stage as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I personally, the song itself, I'm not the biggest fan of overall the song. I liked the video. I found it very intriguing and interesting, but I didn't understand the hype. I think it's one of those songs that Eurovision fans, like the people who would listen to this podcast, although we're still not, but they would really like appreciate and hype up. But I don't think the wider audience of actual Eurovision Song Contest would always appreciate that unless on the stage it's something very powerful.
I think I did read that she is an opera singer,
Mm.
so I think vocally she should perform well. We would expect her to perform really well. So maybe she's going for the jury votes.
Yeah,
But kind of the solid.
and they are powerful, we know.
Indeed. So yeah, but I think I agree. Kind of, it wasn't the most memorable song. I kind of liked the vibe, but it's not going to be my favorite. I mean, it's probably my favorite of the 4 songs released so far, but that's a quite low bar.
Raven, the artist, said about the song that it wasn't originally written with the idea of going to Eurovision. She said that when she created it, she focused primarily on the dramatic quality, which is to tell Veronika's story effectively. So to resonate with modern times, she needed music, this figure. So that's how it maybe sounds like not a song for Eurovision unless she does something special on the stage.
You know, power like social media is really hyped up. All the community is really hyped up and say that she's gonna slay. I use that word.
Slay.
Slay. So
Wow, so cringe.
I'm-
so cringe.
I really wanted to like the song, therefore, and I was like really hoping that it will be my song that I can start listening from now onwards nonstop. But I think it's not becoming that song for me.
Is this a good moment to transition to social media echoes?
Echoes.
Sadly, social media echoes today is presented by me, a person who famously doesn't really use social media these days. So the struggle was real to actually talk about social
I
media
think
and
it's
what
a
we say.
person who really liked social media to
I-
the point that she decided to step away from social media.
Exactly, yeah. I'm not judging because I just have the problem. So I had to move. Anyway, as I said, mentioned before, there is incredible amounts of hyping for Veronika. And the whole social media was just about Veronika and how good the song, but I think we kind of captured that already. Everybody was really not impressed with actually these heats. Everybody say they're really bad, especially Estonia's. And I think I agree. It didn't help that we had 15 songs in one go, and
Yeah,
cannot
the
remember
format
any
kind
of them.
was a bit exhausting.
yeah. There was an interesting meme about the fact that there are so many performances with pink hair. Have you
Yes.
noticed?
Yeah, and I did notice, and I think I saw
Yeah.
that meme.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there were like 6 or 7 already from the kind of announced
Including
artists.
Lithuanian Kaboom, the pink hair, then Norway's we've just seen. It's just either pink hair or platinum with some kind of shade or something, or platinum
Yeah,
hairs
I
that
guess,
are really
I
popular.
guess LA from Lithuanian Heat also falls into a similar category. It kind of had
Yep.
kind of
That was pinkish as well.
yeah.
I saw a meme as well about the pre-parties that being released, and the famous Oprah meme of "you get a pre-party, you get a pre-party," and it's a good time to announce that we've secured our tickets to London pre-party of
Ooh.
Oh,
Eurovision.
yeah, we'll be there.
So
We'll
we
be
will
there meeting the podcast fans.
You know who else will be there?
If anybody wants a community meetup, please do let us know. We'll arrange something.
Aiste may come.
Okay.
Hopefully not as a Lithuania's participant.
Speaking of I think there was a comment, not from me, from the social media, that they were ABBA, but make it awful vocals.
Oh,
That
come on.
was a bit sad.
No, that's not nice. Only we can roast Aiste.
Okay.
Yeah, can you reply to that comment saying you're not
Yeah.
allowed to roast?
Yeah.
And I think an interesting comment that I've seen actually was speculation on Twitter that Ole Alexander's Eurovision song will be released on Friday when it's also the final of Traitors UK.
Traitors is really popular. I haven't seen
It
it,
is
but
very popular. Yeah, I've
it's
seen it on
everywhere.
Gogglebox.
Ollie Alexander is powerful, man.
Yeah,
I've
but
kept listening to his song.
outside of that, I think that's it. That's going on around on social media, apart from like a big hype around Veronika, and everybody already sharing their Eurovision scorecards results, which obviously Slovenia has first place.
yeah, we should revive the Eurovision scorecard
Yeah.
group and start rating the the 4 songs that are out there. I also saw that Austria announced their participant, which they're sending to this year's Eurovision.
The techno?
The techno track. Well, we haven't heard the track yet. It's inspired by rave and techno. Are we excited?
There was a snippet, I think, of the
Was
track. Yeah, I think on YouTube. I heard it.
Oh, okay.
It
okay.
didn't sound
Oh,
very
this has some-
hardcore techno. It
No.
sounded like happy, like pop version of techno.
I mean, that's yeah. I don't think we'll get proper techno in
Is it just
Eurovision.
Tiesto or something?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see whether it's proper rave. But yeah, that was kind of the snippet that I've seen on social media. Anything else to share from social media, artist announcements, or generally what you're excited about this week?
Portugal, Reddit loves Portugal, and I read that Portuguese people approach Eurovision or the festival where they elect the song for Eurovision. I think it's called Festival de
Cancun.
Mhm.
Canção.
Oh, Cansun. Oh, Sansun. Can we call our Portuguese friend to confirm how it's pronounced?
Cancun.
I just thought it's Cancun, like that's
This is a test for our
I-
Portuguese friend to text us, and we'll know if
I think
he's
it's
actually
Cansao
listening to the
song. I think. And anyway, they approach it by using it as an opportunity for upcoming artists to showcase their talent, but all Portuguese songs that I listen to, or most of them, seem very musical, and I like them. I like that selection. People love it too.
All right, I think it's coming up in a couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm excited about it. Yeah, cool. I think that's everything for this week. We're excited to review another round of heats next week. I think we'll have some national finals as well next week, including the a long-awaited Luxembourg final. So the first one after a very long time of Luxembourg